Hey guys, it's Natalie here. I know it's been a while since I made a video, hasn't it? And because of that, oh God, what has it been? I don't know. I didn't go back to look, but I think it's been like a year, maybe less than a year, but a long time. It's been all winter. I haven't made one all winter, and it's April 2019 now. And I wanted to come and put a video on just to let you guys know. Well, one, to see who's even still watching, if anybody wants to still watch my videos or anymore. And if I should continue to make videos and make some more videos. I've been contemplating making some more videos the last few weeks. And I'm still in my RV, still full-time living in my RV, and there has been so many changes, so many drastic changes that have happened in the last year. And if you've seen my previous videos, you may know, especially in the last couple, kind of what I was dealing with and how I was suckered in my RV. And so I've really taken these last few months, last year, really, to try to get used to my new normal, because I don't know what to expect. I thought I knew what to expect. But just life happens, and I was kind of really, kicked in the butt with it. Would I change my decision? No, this lifestyle I love, I would not change that for anything. Is it a learning experience? Of course it is. It's a learning experience, and I learned, let me tell you. But I bought my RV without anybody. I thought, for years I watched these videos on what to look for, but I'm not a mechanic. But, cosmetically, I tried to inform myself to know what it is that I should be looking for. And of course, I had to buy something cash, something used. And, I'd been looking and thought what I found was on point. And shame on the guy who has the audacity to sell something like that for the price that he did. He probably put some work in it himself, because it did have some new things that were a selling point. But once being in the RV and finding out what I found out about it, it definitely wasn't worth what I paid for it. So I was really suckered. I had to learn to live with myself because of that decision. And then I just had to get used to my new normal. And you're probably going to hear me saying that a lot, because my life has changed a lot over the last year, however long it's been since my last video. I have to look. I just haven't looked. But I've been thinking lately that I want to start making some videos. I'm curious your thoughts. I'm curious who's even still on my channel. Say hi, shout me out, like my video. Give me some questions. What do you want to know? So that way when I do make my next video, I can, have, some of your questions. See what you're curious about. Your thoughts about where you think my channel should go. When I started making these videos, I had this whole idea of what I wanted my channel to be. I wanted it to be me buying my RV, living in my RV, not much travel, but moving around in my RV, where I parked in my RV. And because my RV ended up not being what was sold to me, the dream I thought that it was going to be, I had to make so many changes. I'm not moving around and parking here or there. I am stationary. So I'm having to pay a lot rent, which is very pricey. And sometimes when I tell people what I'm paying for my lot rent, people are like, what? And these are people who live in RVs, and they'll be like, okay, well, I've stayed at this place for $400 a month, and this place for $450, $500 a month, which is great, but stuff like that isn't happening for me. And if you do have a place that you can get at $500 or below for monthly lot rent, one, you can't have an RV that's older than like 5, 6, 7 years. 10 years is the longest I've heard people say. Second, there's a wait list. These RV parks are very few and far between. I mean, they're not local. You're going to have to travel far outside of the city, and I'm quite far from the city already as it is. I still had a kid in school, so I didn't want to uproot him so much. I had a lot of the factors that I had to deal with. And so I'm having to pay the lot rent that I'm paying. I'm in an older RV. I couldn't go too far out. We all still work and have school. So there are so many factors that have put me stationary in where I am. And so that's kind of that's not what I was expecting to do in the RV. And then, as I was making my videos before, I had my laptop. I had just started learning how to edit. I just bought like this editing software. It wasn't very expensive, but I just purchased it and downloaded it on my laptop. And I was just learning how to do it. And then my laptop breaks. And then I'm trying to do things on my phone. And then everything goes wrong with the RV. And then I am constantly harassed by police who seem to, particular ones in particular, that seem to have had it out for me. So they seemed to follow me around, and if they weren't following me around, they were contacting the other departments to then it just ended up being to where it didn't matter where I went. I was always contacted by the same people. They seemed to know my schedule better than I knew. They just weren't being RV friendly where I was. It is what it is, even though I did do everything. I parked where I knew to park. I knew the ordinances. You've heard me say this in previous videos. Know what your county ordinances are. And it doesn't really matter because I'm not a lawyer. So even if I am parked legally and it's within an ordinance, if a police officer tells you to go, you have to go. My RV was properly registered, insured, licensed. I mean, if they tell you to go, regardless of what it is, no matter if I'm properly parked and it's in a proper time, for example, even a gym that I was visiting, management called and said that they didn't want me, even though I was visiting a gym, because I was visiting the gym and I didn't have a membership to the gym. They didn't want me parked there. So it was just stuff like that. And it started to take a toll on me because I could no longer be comfortable. And, you watch all these videos and how other people do it. And I don't know, I guess I was just assuming that it was going to be like that for me, and it wasn't. And, the stress level, one of the things of me moving into the RV is I was trying to minimize my stress. And it became too stressful because, my blood pressure would just rise to the roof the second somebody would tap on my door. It was endless, almost every day. I was always getting these videos. I think I have a couple of videos I posted about it, about some of the knocks that I got, but I was targeted. And, so much so that, we did have to move out of our district, take my kid out of school. They weren't going to have it, regardless of if I was, in a proper place, to the point where they wanted to see my receipts for the shopping places that I was. Why was I, in these shopping malls? And if I was in the parking lot, then they wanted to see receipts of the purchase that I made in the strip mall. And that if I didn't have receipts, then they'd sit there until they saw me go into a store. And if they didn't see, then another patrol person would switch up and they'd go, and another person. I was like, that can't be. There's no way that they're sitting there following me like that. I just didn't. Listen, guys, I'm sorry. I don't want to go on a rant about that. But it is what it is. RV living is just not easy. And especially, I was in an RV. I was in a 32-foot Class A. So maybe I can see you getting away with it in a van, but not in the city and not in an RV. Maybe in a van, especially if you're incognito, like no fantastic fans or generators anywhere. And when I did find a place to park, we couldn't have the generator on when it was working because, I just didn't want anybody to hear the sound. So, I wanted my experience to be a happy one, and I needed to find a medium. And anyways, there was just so many other things that went along with that I decided to go ahead and make my stay in the RV a stationary one, and to go ahead and get a lot. It wasn't ideal. It was not what I wanted, but it is what we are doing. We've been in this lot all winter long, which was nice because we were able to have electricity, which means we were able to have heat since we didn't have the heater in the RV didn't work, and then the generator didn't work. Everything stopped working. There's no AC in the dash. The ACs stopped working. I basically live in a box that has electrical, and I'm just hoping and praying that the electrical stays intact and doesn't go out on me. But you know, I've had some other things that have happened in the last year, so it's really been a learning experience, and I'm ready to share that with you guys. I'm going to kind of, you know, do some videos to let you know what I've done, what I've been doing. But I'm curious to know, you, what do you think? I had this huge experience that happened to me in January. I'm not ready to talk about it yet because I'm getting used to my new normal. But I have had a big life change in January, and so I've been kind of, you know, learning myself all over again, and you know, trying to do things differently with my family and trying to make some changes. And so that also kind of was the reason why I wasn't making videos. But there's just so many things that started piling and piling and piling, and I had to learn just to cope. You know, I've always, you know, been knocked down, and I've always gotten myself up. You know, I have quite the testimony. And, you know, I started working when I was 15. I've never been unemployed. I've been unemployed, but I can count on one hand, and I can count on one hand how many months in between employment that I've been unemployed. And when I say I can count on one hand, probably 2 times in my life. And, you know, I had my daughter young. I was 20, moved to Georgia from Michigan, just me, my daughter, and a U-Haul, towed my own car behind a U-Haul. And, you know, I had an interview here in Georgia, and I knew that job was going to be mine, even though I hadn't received my hire letter, and I was eventually hired at that position, and just took a leap of faith when I moved to Georgia. And I've always managed. I've just always managed. You know, when I moved out of my, you know, with my mom, I was 16 when I moved out. I've never been home since. I've just come in that area where I raised myself, raised my daughter, and figured it out. You know, and so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm figuring it out, and then I'm trying to teach my kids to figure it out. because I was raised trying to figure it out on my own, I did not want that for them. So I probably coddled them more than I should have and did everything for them because I just didn't have anybody doing that for me. So we're living our new normal now that my kids are older, and I'm trying to get used to what I'm trying to get used to. And I just wanted to, you know, come in and say hi because I haven't been around for so long. So anyways, I'm going to start watching videos. Let me know if you want to see anything. If you do, what do you want to hear me talk about? Anyways, thanks you guys for watching, and like, and let me know, post